Este examen, ella estaba cogiendo un examen final. Y yo abro la puerta donde ella estaba cogiendo el examen y habían papeles por todos lados. Yo me quedé, ¡diablo!
I think, yeah, the medical explanation is that sometimes blood... Okay, I don't want to say that, though. I'm trying to summarize it based off of what I remember, but I don't want to say something inaccurate, you know what I mean?
Después, pero está bien, porque eso es lo que hacen los científicos todo el tiempo.
The level of disrespect. Alright. Well, if it makes you feel any better, I'm not doing any research with weird shit like that.
Eso dicen todo.
¿Sabes qué tipo de criaturas se encuentran por allá escarbando en piedras y volcanes?
Well, I'm not going to be digging... You don't dig into a volcano. That's a fast way to die. Okay? Don't do that.
Ya lo coge todo muy literal.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So, pathology. Okay, this is where it is.
La explicación.
The pathology of a vampire, right? So, decomposition. I think people need to know a little something about the way that bodies decompose, okay?
Oyiste.
So, the author, Paul Barber, right? He stated that belief in vampires resulted from people of pre-industrial societies attempting to explain the natural...
Judging and discriminating.
But to them inexplicable process of death and decomposition. People sometimes suspected vampirism when a cadaver did not look as they thought a normal corpse should when disinterred, right? Because you expect it to be completely wasting away if it's after some months. However, bodies, there have been studies done in places like where it's cold tundra type areas. They lay out dead bodies and they put up a little marker so that they know who's who and everything like that. And then the medical staff study them to see how the process of decomposition works for different bodies. Right?
It's disgusting.
Yeah, it's gross, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? You have to see. So, if you donate your body to science, this is probably the weird shit that they're going to be doing with it. You know what I mean? Just be aware of that. So, rates of decomposition vary depending on temperature and soil composition. That's one of the things.
Cuando yo me muera, le venden mi cuerpo a los científicos. No se lo dones, se lo vendes.
Sell it? I don't know if you're allowed to sell someone's dead body. That feels vaguely illegal. You know what I mean?
Y si yo lo dejo escrito en mi testamento?
I wonder what the hell kind of money they would give us.
Like, a lot. Look at me.
They'd probably look at us and be like, are you serious? You're selling a body when I can get one for free? You know what I mean?
It's my body.
But yeah, and many of the signs are little known. This has led vampire hunters to mistakenly conclude that a dead body... There's vampire hunters.
I want to be a vampire hunter.
To mistakenly conclude that a dead body had not decomposed at all, or to interpret signs of decomposition as signs of continued life. Here's the explanation. Corpses swell as gases from decomposition accumulate in the torso. That's one of the things that people should keep in mind. You know what I mean? And the increased pressure forces blood to ooze from the nose and the mouth. Right? This causes the body to look plump, well-fed, and ruddy, changes that are all the more striking if the person was pale or thin in life.
You know what I think about that explanation?
Yeah, you think it's... So, yeah, darkening of the skin is also caused by decomposition. The staking of a swollen, decomposing body could cause the body to bleed and force the accumulated gases to escape the body. This is going to be really dark. You guys are going to have to just sit through it, right? So,
¿Qué cosa?
I heard stories of when people, like, kill themselves by hanging, right?
Uh-huh.
That sometimes when you untie them, they make a noise like they're still alive, but that's all the air leaving their body.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what they're saying basically this is. When you stab them, any gases that are trapped in them escape and make sounds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then people thought that was like the vampire groaning in pain or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's one of the other things, you know?
¿Qué más?
After death, the skin and gums lose fluid and contract, exposing the roots of the hair, nails, and teeth, even teeth that were concealed in the jaw. Hence the sharp teeth that vampires
Ay, por favor.
have.
Dientes que nunca salen en los rayos X que le hacen a los humanos. Get out of here.
They do come out in your x-rays.
No, they don't. You don't have those teeth there.
What?
Que salen dientes que no estaban después y dicen que estaban ahí.
En el sentido de que crecen.
Okay,
Tienen-
it looks like they're growing because I don't know if you. Okay, so I didn't know this.
O sea, yo no
until
tengo
recently.
ningunos colmillos acá arriba que cuando si esto se me descomponga me
Let me
van a
talk.
salir.
All right. So that's because humans, generally speaking, only have 2 sets of teeth:
And
the baby
vampires,
teeth and then the adult teeth. The problem is that your tooth takes up way more space in your jaw than you see. It goes
Yeah.
into your gum. You know what I mean?
yo sé.
And so when the gum starts shrinking, it looks like your teeth are getting bigger. You know what I mean?
Es porque esta área aquí se muere.
Ok, no es que dicen que le salen los colmillos.
No, no.
Eso es lo que piensan la gente.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Because in the old days, people when they say see they exaggerate in Hollywood movies, your teeth like the teeth of a dead person do not get that sharp after you're dead. You know what I mean? Which is where the original vampire idea came from. You know what I mean? They stay exactly the same amount of sharp as they were when you died. The only thing is that it looks like there's more of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ok, pero entonces ella lo que dice no es que cuando se descomponen le están los colmillos.
No.
No, es que se notan más.
Es que se nota más largo el diente.
Yeah.
Ok.
Have you ever seen a human skull? Shit's scary. You know what I mean? We don't look half as terrifying as we could. You know?
It's pretty.
And then there are some animals that
mucha por
have
ahí.
like extra sets of teeth too, but I'm not gonna get into that right now. Anyway,
Cuando yo me muera no voy a tener ningún diente.
yeah, because I'm very enthusiastic about animals and animal behavior, so if I get into that, I'm never gonna shut up.
Tú y yo no nos podemos convertir en vampiros.
No vamos a tener dientes para morder, nos morimos de hambre.
Yeah, if you don't have teeth, I imagine that there's not gonna be anything.
Ay, qué pobrecita la vida de un vampiro sin dientes.
What? Are you feeling sorry for them? They come out to kill you.
Mi amor, they're gonna
Okay.
starve.
Imagínate.
Me da la cara de reír y pena al mismo tiempo. Que me va a dar tanta pena que me voy a cortar un poquito y le voy a exprimir la sangre de la boca.
Oh my god. You guys are insane. Jesus Christ.
You guys, no, a mí no me vuelve. En esa no me vuelve.
So,
No.
You guys are boring.
¿Cómo que you guys? Ahí otra vez generalizando. ¿Qué?
so moving on. Now it's not just talking about decomposition. It's moved on to premature burial, right? Because sometimes another thing about vampires is that people will say that they can hear them trying to get out of their graves.
¿Qué carajo?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so then people start to think, well, maybe that's just because that person was buried before they were dead. You know what I mean?
Bueno,
So, because it's not like
Yo
that
no sé
never
ahora,
happens or anything.
Pero para esos tiempos había mucho bruto.
Yeah.
para esos tiempos no dejaba unas campanitas o algo así.
Yeah, and it started to become a habit that you would put bells on top of some cemeteries just in case you prematurely buried someone. You know what I mean? Because, of course, only humans could think that something is dead when it's not. So, you know what I mean?
Pero solo es porque hay una enfermedad, o sea, no una enfermedad, algo que pasa, que sí, yo creo que una enfermedad, una condición.
Sometimes you can have an illness that makes
Okay.
you appear dead when you're not.
Ajá.
And other times you can be in a coma. That's a great example of that.
Pero
Coma,
es que si está en coma,
people
va a
who had
tener un
comas-
latido o algo.
Yeah, but comatose patients probably got buried all the time back then. You know what I mean?
¿Tú te imaginas? Pero no, porque no iban a despertar después porque ellos estaban muertos ya si los desconectaban de las máquinas, los de las personas que están en coma.
Back then, you didn't have machines.
No.
If you were in a coma, you survived by the grace of God, and that's it.
Ah.
That's the only thing that was getting you back up.
Oh,
You know
okay.
what I mean?
Y para los que no están viendo, el que no está opinando con la cabeza, diciendo que sí, que no.
Yeah. It's kind of like Snow White. The idea of her, like, falling into a deep sleep. She was in a coma. You know what I mean?
Y la despertó el beso del príncipe azul.
El goloso.
Lo que sea aprovechándose de ella que estaba dormida.
Ujú.
Qué vergüenza.
Yeah, in some cases, like I was saying, in which people reported sounds emanating from a specific coffin, it was later dug up and fingernail marks were discovered on the inside from the victim trying to escape. You know, this person's dead by that point, obviously, right?
Claro.
You think?
In other cases, the person would hit their heads trying to get out, nose or faces, and it would appear that they had been feeding, but that's really their own blood.
Yo no creo que estaban
You
metiendo,
know what I
mira,
mean?
yo no creo, o sea, con las manos así aruñando, ok, estaban tratando de salir. en el punto que ellos le empezaban a meter con la cabeza ahí, yo lo haría para morirme más rápido y no asfixiar, y no en esas condiciones.
Yeah, that could have been the reason that some of them did it. It could also be that they were panicking and they weren't thinking and they were just thrashing.
I just want to
You know what I
end
mean?
this shit, so I'm just going to smack my head out.
That got dark. That got really dark. Jesus Christ. All right, moving on.
Hablando de formas que yo no quiero morir.
Esa es una.
Yeah.
Yeah, and, and of course, another explanation for noise is the bubbling of escaping gas from natural decomposition. You know what I mean? And another likely cause of disordered tombs is grave robbery. Because that is a thing that people do for some reason.
Todavía lo hacen.
Yeah, like they will.
So, los cuerpos.
Yeah.
No,
so
no
sometimes
los
when
cuerpos
you.
nada más. Bueno, dime.
Yeah, sometimes when you would like find a coffin that wasn't as deep as it should have been, for example, or a person that was not in the position that they had put them in when they put them down there, it could be that there was a grave robbery. You know? Especially if you bury the person with riches and the whole town knew about it.
Pero no hay gente que se roba los cuerpos para venderlos. No, si ya están los órganos muertos.
No, pero hay gente... Para esos tiempos, los científicos, los doctores, querían cuerpos para estudiar y hacer cosas de los estudios de ellos.
And sometimes you weren't given fresh bodies, so you needed to find some. You know?
Y los pervertidos sexuales que hacen cosas con los cuerpos muertos.
Then there's the necrophiliacs, of course.
Qué asco, mano.
Because anything gross that a human can do, they will do at some point.
Pero eso de robar cosas, eso lleva de años. Porque eso también se lo hacían a los faraones y cosas así, que entraban y robaban.
No, pero to be fair, a los faraones los enterraban con cosas de oro y cosas bien caras y cosas bien...
Yeah.
Sí, pero si es como estaba diciendo anteriormente, si es una persona rica, los anillos, cadenas, relojes.
Es que yo no sé para qué entierran la gente con cosas puestas.
Because humans are stupid. That's really the only reason. You know what I mean?
Pero volviendo a los vampiros,
they get sentimental about it, and they think, oh, this person would want this. I'm like, this person doesn't want anything. They're dead, you know? So, but yeah, that is what it is. Anyways. And of course, the whole idea that vampires would come out and, like, attack whole communities, right? Because that's part of the folklore. Sometimes people just die in clusters because there's diseases. Yeah. Especially back then.
Yeah.
Like unknown diseases, maybe ones that we didn't realize were a disease at the time.
Pero sin medicina, sin vacunas, sin nada de eso.
Yeah. People didn't even wash their hands before fucking cooking or eating or anything. And I'm not talking like it's a little dirty from modern life. I'm talking these people were working with the dirt and with all kinds of like literal shit in some cases. You know?
Huancaque.
Ahí viene la historia de aquel tipo una vez que yo estaba en un desierto.
No.
Yeah.
That's not the kind of podcast.
No. Es que nosotros íbamos en el desierto ahí guiando y nos paramos, yo no me acuerdo ni por qué diablo nos paramos. La cosa fue que nos paramos y el tipo dice, okay, I'll be right back. I'm gonna take a check. Okay. Y ahí se fue más alejado del tro. Se engañó. O sea, yo no estoy prestando atención. Yo veo que se levanta, vuelve para el tro, se echa coge una botella, se echa agua en las manos y dice, ya. Y yo acá como que, when are you gonna take a shit? Said, yeah, I just took a shit. It's like, okay. El tipo no tenía papel de toilet, no tenía pala, no tenía jabón. Y así cogió. Y cuando empezamos a guiar otra vez, se sentó y se fue otra vez.
¿Y con qué se iba a limpiar si estaban en el desierto? ¿Tenía algo para que se limpiara?
Bueno, yo tenía papel. Yo no sé, yo no sabía. Si él no caminó, no se alejó ni mucho del tro. Like, ¿en serio? ¿En serio?
Se salió, mira, y ya.
Yeah, pero.
Maybe se limpió como los perritos.
The only time I wasn't able to wash my hands was like when I was hiking in Giant Mountain, and I was very careful to at least bring some hand sanitizer.
Nosotros, yo lo con que andaba, ¿te acuerdas que yo siempre andaba con baby wipes y papel de toilet? Si no es más nada.
Vampiros.
Ok, mala mía. Vamos a, ok.
Bueno, a ustedes les gusta irse por la tangente.
Así es esto, mi gente, así
Ok,
es.
next.
Ok.
Okay.
Next story. Ya no
Me
quiero
regañaron,
saber.
güey, me regañaron.
The next story?
Sí, mija, porque si vas a seguir diciendo toda la historia
Well,
del
there's
mismo-
not a whole lot of
Sí, hay
modern
mucho.
stories.
Chequete lo de que pasó en África.
Oh, okay.
Sí, mija, despégate de
We've already talked about chupacabras.
chupacabra.
I'm throwing them down
Sí,
with the
sí.
way you did.
Tú eres un vampiro,
Chupacabras.
Cutie. Cutie, come here. Cutie.
Okay.
Eres un vampiro porque tú siempre le quieres sacar
Africa,
sangre a
you
uno.
said?
Sí.
Okay.
¿Lo encontraste?
No, I'm looking.
Tengo un vampiro al lado mío, mira.
This is Greek.
Es una historia pequeña, yo creo que es en el 2007.
Pero si te acuerdas, dilo.
Es que no me acuerdo exactamente. Yo creo que... No estoy seguro ahora, no estoy seguro si es la misma historia o no, pero yo leí de que hubo un sitio donde un tipo dice que en un cementerio local... Mira, cierra eso porque si no se va a meter la gata.
Ave
My
María,
snacks.
ella quiere comer
She ruins
cupcakes.
everything.
En un cementerio,
Chato.
un tipo en un cementerio local
Ya, bájate.
empezó a decir que había un vampiro en el pueblo.
Ajá.
Y cuando la historia cogió su apogeo, cogió piso, como quien dice,
Uh-huh.
aparecieron un montón de cazadores de vampiros y se metieron al cementerio. Y eso todas las noches tratando de cazar al vampiro. Mientras tanto aparecían gente muerta y cosas así en ese pueblo. Y el
I
mismo que
remember
le,
reading that.
yeah, el mismo que le inventó, el mismo que le inventó la historia dice que él mató a ese vampiro y mató a un montón de vampiros más en ese pueblo.
Como que si la inventó.
Porque yo no sé si es verdad o no, porque él dice que aparecieron un montón, en ese cementerio habían vampiros y también después de eso habían par de vampiros. Y después qué casualidad que él fue el héroe de la película y los mató a todos. No mames, güey.
Y hubo historia de gente muerta para ese tiempo, de que había algo en el pueblo.
Hubieron gente muerta, pero en todos los pueblos hay muertos todos los días.
Uh-huh.
So, yo no sé si fue que él mismo los mató o fue casualidad de la vida que, oh shit, te llegó la hora, murió, vamos a echarle la culpa a un vampiro. Pero es que en esa historia específica puede que sea cierto, pero también puede ser el embusto del tipo.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, that's
yeah.
always been the case. You know what I mean?
Por eso.
Anytime that someone dies unexpectedly,
Nadie más habló de...
it could be that it was just their time.
Yeah.
But a lot of people who believe in the supernatural tend to think it also could be a supernatural creature.
Oye, y nadie más habló de los mentados vampiros.
Pero los que estaban en ese círculo de él, y cuando la noticia, insisto, gracias a él la noticia se regó. So, los que estaban hablando de esa noticia en específico sí estaban hablando.
Pero nadie más los vio.
No. Bueno, no da detalles, esos detalles no lo da.
Okay.
¿Me
Yeah.
entiendes? Solamente que aparecieron un montón de casas de vampiros, que por lo que veo, eso sí pasa de que hay gente cazando vampiros.
Y tú no te preguntas si hay casa vampiros, porque lo más seguro hay vampiros.
Maybe.
Oh,
Porque no van a haber casa vampiros por eternidades cuando nunca han cazado nada.
Por eso.
O sea, hello. Va a llegar el momento que van a decir, you know what, I'm wasting my time. But if they keep doing it por generaciones y generaciones, and they still doing it, yo encuentro que eso es una prueba de que sí hay vampiros.
Ok, esto es una pregunta rápido. Si ustedes saben de alguna historia del pueblo de ustedes o del pueblo vecino de vampiros, de ataques de vampiros, de cazavampiros, tírenme en el email que vamos a decir al final de este episodio. Gracias. Ok. Yo sé, ya pues estoy haciendo anuncios.
No, mi amor, tan lindo. ¿No te comes todos esos cupcakes?
this is my first one.
Ah, bueno.
La otra se llevó con 80.
Sí,
Anyway,
No sé.
no. So yeah,
son mis cupcakes.
the Romanian word for well, actually, let me not say that. One of the now can we get into subcategories?
Sí,
of
pues
vampires?
claro, dale,
Y
dale.
después vamos para movies.
Okay. So yeah, the Romanian version that is closer to that is their original version of a vampire that ours came from. It's called strigoi. That's what they call them. I don't know if that's how they pronounce it, but and they're troubled spirits that are said to have risen from the grave, which would explain why the body is still there, mostly unbothered. You know what I mean?
What do you mean?
Because it's like if the spirit can leave without having to use the body, it would explain why you can bury someone 6 feet deep and they can still climb out of their grave. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not like the body that rises, it's the spirit. And they are attributed with the abilities to transform into an animal, become invisible, and to gain vitality from the blood of their victims.
Por poco me trago el cigarro.
Y que son así transparentes y tú puedes pasarle por el medio como si fuera un fantasma.
Probably not. They can become invisible, not, invisible is not the same thing as where you can just walk through them.
¿Tú no has visto las movies de cuando se salen los cuerpos de la tumba, que se sale el cuerpo entero y se queda roto?